Hey Saints, I just got home from work and got to thinking about a lot of things. Last night I had a dream and I saw, I don't even know how to begin, but I saw people eating each other. And what was ironic was that they looked deformed. Like, they had no hair. And they looked like I don't know if you ever seen that movie from Will Smith, When I Was in the World. I watched this movie called Legends. And it was about these people. You know, the world was consumed by a virus that made them look like vampiric creatures. You know, they were bald. They had their bodies looked like reptilian almost, and they had lumps on their head. But in my dream, they looked like that, but they had lumps and a bunch of sores, and they looked like they were cannibalizing each other. And I have reason to believe that that's due to a pestilence. A disease, a virus that is unseen, unknown. I asked Jesus Christ about it, and he said that was a disease that he's going to send to mankind in the future that is unknown, and it's supposed to happen during the very last days. We are in the last days, but it's supposed to happen sometime during the tribulation. Sometime during that time frame. I don't know when. Then I had another dream that in my state, because I live in the Northeast, there was news broadcasts everywhere, and sirens was going off in my state because the National Guard, the reserves were being called to military duty. In fact, they were being made active duty instead of being in the reserves of the, National Guard. I'm just going to get on here and I'm going to tell you dreams as I get them, because I get a lot of them. This is my primary channel. End Times Deliverance is my secondary. That'll be used for talk about demons and stuff, and this will be telling you about dreams. Anyway, it was ironic because all I remember the broadcaster saying is that if you are in the occupied zones, make it to the free zones, something like that. So supposedly the southwestern part of the United States, excuse me, was occupied by foreign forces. It's like, I remember seeing Kansas, and it wasn't Kansas anymore because it looked like there was dead bodies everywhere. It looked like a war-torn third world nation. I seen Nevada destroyed, Nebraska, Arizona. Some parts weren't destroyed. There were makeshift camps where whatever residents or survivors they caught, the foreign militaries, to put them in labor camps. I seen China's flag, Iran, Russia, Egypt, Jordan, Ethiopia, Nigeria, both Koreas, South and North Korea, you name it. I've seen a lot of different, Venezuela, Chile, Colombia, Cuba, different flags on, different flags on this nation, different nationalities, different national military soldiers. And I heard Ezekiel 38 and 39, which is the Great War. Now, I was watching Dabu77, I think his channel is. This is one of the brothers in Christ that has more than one channel for the purpose of getting out non-mainstream media news, things that the media won't talk about. So, not to deviate to what I'm telling you, but just because you have, I talked about this before, when you're a watchman on the wall and you have 4 or 5 channels for your ministry and you expose a false prophet, they try to use that to discredit you. Or if you change your channel name to, because you're being harassed by trolls, they try to use that to discredit you because they have nothing else, no evidence to discredit you, because they have nothing else to say other than that you have a lot of channels or you changed your name. And true watchmen change their name because they get harassed by trolls because they expose them as false prophets. Just because, like I said, they have 4 or 5 channels doesn't make them bad. That's part of their ministry. Now, Dabu777 has like 4 channels that I know of. But they're all dedicated to non-mainstream media news. Doesn't make him a bad brother because he does pretty good investigative journalism. Anyway, he did a video today. And it was about, I wish I can leave the link below for you, but it was about how they're doing Jade Helm-like military trainings around the world. And he's right. I noticed that because Canada's doing the same thing. England's doing the same thing. France is, Germany. And now NATO is holding these huge military drills right outside of Russia's door. Why outside of Russia? Obviously to intimidate Russia. Okay? And Russia has pretty powerful allies like China and Iran, Korea, North Korea, Cuba, you know. China's got 200 million man army, more than that alone. So, and then I had a dream about a month ago that I saw a bunch of Humvees, choppers, warships, you see. And then I heard this, July 2015, between 7:38 p.m. and 8:38 p.m. in Obama. Now, that dream, I have reason to believe, means that we are going to go into a major war. And that Obama, it's going to be right in the middle of Obama's presidency, or sometime during the course of his presidency. And that Obama is going to extend his presidential term because of the war. Because I think it stipulates somewhere in the Constitution that the president can extend their term if they're right in the middle of war. Or if there's a major war about to start. So, if that I don't know if that July 15, if that date means this year or next year. If it means July 15, 2015, and we enter into a war between the hours of 7:38 p.m. and 8:38 p.m., it's what I heard. I think that represents the final hour, too, because it spans out to be an hour. But anyway, I think that means that he'll extend his term. Now, if this date happens next year, let's say next year, July 15, 2016, okay, before the Shemitah year ends, which is supposed to be 2016, and we get into a war, again, I believe that Obama will extend his term, either by early votes and by forcing you to vote, or by just extending his term, because he does plan on dissolving Congress. Now, I told you I've had a dream before last year that they want to force you to vote. And Obama's trying to make that happen now. And the reason why I told you about this other dream about, seeing the news about war and about Kansas being destroyed in Nevada, and I think Nebraska and Arizona, and survivors being taken and rounded up into labor camps, is because it's ironic that I had that dream, and then the Lord reminded me about the other dream he sent me about July 15. And then it's ironic that Jade Helm is supposed to start July 2015, and that Jade Helm is called Jade Helm 15. See, it's strange. If you get where I'm going with this, I heard July 15, 7:38 p.m. to 8:38 p.m. And that dream that I told you I had last month. And then Jade Helm is labeled Jade Helm 15. It's supposed to take effect in July. So I have reason to believe that the Lord is giving a hidden prophecy here saying that the Great War is upon us. Otherwise, why would NATO be having all these drills outside of Europe or Russia? I believe the Lord was using Dabu 777 to tell you guys that they're preparing for war. All of these NATO military drills, it's not routine to prepare for martial law. Jade Helm here in the United States, I think the one in Canada is called Maple or something like that. There's a similar military training going on there, going on in Germany, going on in the UK, going on in Russia, going on in England, going on in France, Italy. They're all preparing for world war. Okay? They're preparing for world war. Why would the United States need to buy so much round of ammunition? Why are gun stores closing? Why are they targeting your gun rights? Why are they stripping us of our constitutional rights? Because I know I told you that they want to make this a police state. Why buy coffins? Why buy guillotines? Why build these FEMA camps? Why do they have 10 high-ranking military officers? Each one is responsible to lead and is also a head of the 10 sections of FEMA, where the FEMA camps are held. Why are they hiring personnel to, military personnel for these FEMA camps? Because when war hits, and it does, and the United States is invaded, okay, because that's what Obama wants. He wants to take America apart. He already started. We're not a sovereign nation anymore. What they want to do, they know that the public's going to panic. So I theorize that they're going to round up everybody as much as they can and put them into FEMA camps. The other thing that I theorize is this, is that they want this war to happen. So when the New World Order hits, they want to detain those that are a threat to the New World Order, like you as a believer in Christ and me. That's why I always tell you, and I have messages like this on my end times, be willing and ready to die for Jesus Christ at a moment's notice, because you're going to see some stuff, and in fact you already are. I uploaded a video telling you USA is titled USA backs Palestine to divide Israel. The USA is going to back Palestine. And that's very important. That's Bible prophecy. And the reason why I tell you that is because, excuse me, when that resolution that France, the presidential France, met with U.S. leaders in secret, which you know is Obama, when that resolution happens, when it's brought to the UN, the USA is the deciding vote. Unless another country steps up to vote against it and help Israel out, I highly doubt that's going to happen. I really don't see that happening. When the USA votes for Palestine and the other countries vote for Palestine, they're going to forcibly divide Israel. And if Israel is going to have given a window to comply, and if they don't comply, they're going to put sanctions on Israel. If Israel still fights, Israel will probably put up a good fight. They're basically saying in that resolution that they can militarily force Israel to comply. And to do that, they would have to dismantle the government of Israel. This is the times we're living in. The world is preparing for war. So while you're going to your job and you're worried about this and you're worried about that, and if you're watching on the wall and you're exposing false prophets, don't get caught up in their game with their debates. None of that. Well, all that's happening, they're preparing for war, and they're preparing for Armageddon.